Every day, there's a battle for your mind raging. Information coming from every angle with the will to deceive. Fear not. You found the place for truth. The voice of a generation that still has the will to believe in the greatest country in the history of the world. This is the Charlie Kirk Show. Buckle up. Here we go.
All right, everybody. Stations across the country, Real America's Voice, Salem News Channel, all the things, streaming, podcasts. This is the Charlie Kirk Show. I'm Andrew Kolvet, executive producer of this show. And today I am joined by MAGA's main man. That's right. The most important influencer in the MAGA world. And that is, of course, Jack Posobiec, host of Human Events Daily. That's right, Jack. Take a bow.
Yeah, okay. I did not write the Atlantic piece. I did not go on the record for the Atlantic piece, but I will say this.
We have graphic.
I will say this about... Oh, do you have the thing?
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Oh, yeah. Here's what I'll say about this. I respectfully disagree with the Atlantic naming me MAGA's most important influencer, next top influencer. I respectfully disagree. The name of MAGA's most important influencer is Charles James Kirk. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Well said. Well, you took it in a classy direction. I was just trying to razz you a little bit. It came out this morning. The Atlantic, we knew this story was kind of percolating. Jack, you and I talked about it a little bit. And listen, I'll tell you what, I think it's well-earned. I think it's you do a lot for the movement. You've been out and about like crazy lately, working campaigns. You've been campaigning for Jack Ciattarelli. You've been encouraging the grassroots of Turning Point Action. Obviously, you've been everywhere as we remember and celebrate the legacy of Charles James Kirk. So, I'm excited to see it. It is kind of it's the Atlantic, so, it's only fake news. It has to be fake news.
Yeah,
but...
they've been calling around. They were asking about my military record. They were calling some people I had served in the military with, and they were saying, what units was he in, and what was his service like, and what was this, and what was that. And I think they FOIA'd my military records. They got a copy of that at one point, which is funny because, I'll release my military records, but Mickey Sherrill, who's running for governor in New Jersey, she won't release her Navy Academy records when she was caught up in that cheating scandal. I'm like, I've released my records to every single reporter who's ever asked. I never have a problem with it. But for some reason, they never want to put that out because, it turns out my records are actually pretty good.
Turns out. Well, listen, there's another story about keeping records, Jack, and this is, of course, the Democrats on the Oversight Committee in the House they've announced a plan to roll out a master online ICE tracker. And this corresponds with a really creepy story that we covered at TPUSA Frontlines about this basically an Antifa hit list. I want to know what the heck is going on with Democrats keeping lists all of a sudden. And so,
well, it's amazing, right?
Yeah,
so there's no daylight whatsoever between what you see at the Antifa level and what you see at the Democrat level in the House. And this is something where, Harry Sisson asked me the other day, he said, are there any high-ranking Democrats who call Republicans fascists and Hitler? I said, yeah, Kamala Harris did when you were campaigning for her. They all do. Joe Biden, you go down the list, right? So what Katie Davis Court and TPUSA Frontlines were able to uncover on the ground, they've gone through Seattle, they've gone through Portland, they've been infiltrating Oakland, California, infiltrating these Antifa cells, and they found hit lists of prominent influencers, reporters, media figures, conservatives, that if you see these people, that you are essentially to fight them, to attack them, and I'm just going to say it, to kill them. Right? These are kill orders that got put out certainly after the murder of Charlie Kirk and certainly after that White House roundtable that we held talking about Antifa, and that's what they're doing now. And so you can actually see there are certain members of the Turning Point Frontlines team, like Jonathan Cho and Dr. Karlin Borsenko, who joined them as well, that were on the list even as they themselves were there taking the photos and were infiltrated. So they're sitting there taking a picture of their own mugshots, essentially, from this terrorist group. And again, it really just goes to show you that whenever you hear the media whenever you hear the Democrats say that they don't exist, that Antifa doesn't exist, they have hit lists, they have cells, they have book fairs, they have communes, they have command centers in Seattle that you can go into and infiltrate like Turning Point Frontlines did. And God bless them for going in there, putting themselves in harm's way like this. They literally go to the front lines, and that's why they're called that. Those are the guys who should be called the top influencers. Those are the guys who are the most important, the ones that are actually putting themselves in harm's way. And I used to do stuff like this, but it's actually, there's a piece in the article where Bannon says he chewed me out for, doing this in 2020 because I started to become more recognized by Antifa, and that's what led to that picture of me in the Lincoln Park, the statue of Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln, from 2020, squaring off with Antifa because they had recognized me, and I was just there to do a report on what was happening. So you look at all this, and then you combine that with the fact that now we have House members that want to target ICE officers, the same ones who want to bring up January 6th every time they get a chance. They bring up Jan 6, Jan 6, Jan 6. And now you are the ones that are physically doxing, harassing, and targeting federal agents on the street who, by the way, are enforcing the laws that were passed by Congress. That's what federal agents do.
Well, yeah,
they're
Jack,
trying to get people killed.
Yeah, let me play some of these clips. This is Robert Garcia. He's a top Democrat on the Oversight Committee, and he's announcing this plan. Cut 243.
I shared this with the mayor. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, the Oversight Committee will be launching on their website a master ICE tracker, where we're going to be essentially tracking every single instance that we can verify that the community will be able to send us information on.
Yeah, and you saw Karen Bass there, and then we have another disgraced big city mayor. This is Lori Lightfoot, just getting in on the action, 290.
We start the process of unmasking the agents. Even though they're wearing masks, every single one of them has a towel.
You say unmasking, they're going to say you're going to dox them, and that's why threats against them are up.
They are on public property, out in the open. We have an absolute right under our Constitution to be able to document what's happening. Every single one of those agents, height, weight, hair color, they wear their vests in a particular way. They're wearing insignias, even the masks that they wear, the shoes that they wear, the cars that they're driving. We have a right to compile that information.
So she's claiming she has a constitutional right to essentially dox, track, and endanger ICE agents that are enforcing federal immigration law. And by the way, that we're just this policy of mass deportations that was just voted on by the American people after Joe Biden let in 10 million plus illegals stream into this country. And so now they're doing it. So you're seeing it at the federal level. You're seeing this at the local level. There's Letitia James who's getting in on the action here, Jack. 288. Let's play that cut.
A new portal where residents can send photos and videos of ICE operations. James says the portal is meant to review and investigate legal violations by agents, and her statement referenced Tuesday's immigration raid in Chinatown in New York City. Meantime, House Democrats say they will launch their own similar ICE tracker. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi is criticizing that effort, citing a sharp increase in violence against law.
So Jack, we've got two different efforts here to track ICE agents, and Stephen Miller is livid. He's saying how much more blood has to be spilled by Democrats before this madness stops, and that's exactly where my head goes. We
exactly see right. By the way, just on Lori Lighthizer, I wanted to say I commend her. I know Halloween is next week, but I'm glad that she's already out wearing her Beetlejuice costume in public. I want to say that's really great. Don't say it 3 times, or it might pop up. But I mean, you hear this violent rhetoric, and you hear this violent, and again, these are taking steps. So when you talk about it's like when you talk to lawyers about how do you constitute a conspiracy? Well, there's a conspiracy to commit violence. Well, taking steps in furtherance of a conspiracy is how you move from just talking about something like, oh, I hate that guy so much, I could murder him, all right, that's free speech. But when you take steps in furtherance of the conspiracy, that's when it crosses into illegal action. And so what they're saying out there, the low level are saying, we are going to kill the ICE agents. We're going to shoot at them. They have shot at them. This guy down in Dallas had the anti-ICE written on the bullet casings. And now what do we see? They're giving lists. They're trying to put out addresses. They want another killer. They're taking steps in furtherance of the conspiracy.
Real quick moment here. We've got more with Jack Posobiec all hour one, and then we're going to have some other guests in hour two. We've got Robby Starbuck and Megan Basham coming in hour two, so don't go anywhere. The government needs more money, and of course that would mean it's your money. It's taxpayer money. So if you owe the IRS back taxes, they can garnish your wages and even levy your bank accounts. They can seize your retirement. They can take your home. Don't let the IRS target you. Call the professionals at Tax Network USA. Their tax lawyers and enrolled agents are experts in powerful programs that may even help you eliminate your tax debt altogether. Tax Network USA is A+ rated and has saved over $1 billion for clients. But you have to act now while you still have options. For a free consultation, call Tax Network USA. It's Tax Network USA at 1-800-958-1000. 1-800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com. We'll be right back.